Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to now the greatest podcast in the world, True Story. Now, if you remember Shooting the Shit Uncensored, it's not that hard to forget, but Shooting the Shit Uncensored is dead, and in its place is True Story, and we're going to get into it, and you're going to find all about it right fucking now. Let's hit it.
Break it down like this.
Get a grip, you fucking moron. I swear, officer, I'm not that stoned. Greatest podcast in the world, True Story.
And we are here live with the first episode of True Story, and I am with two of my most amazing friends or people in the entire world. Sorry, I'm sick, but I've got them here. I've got the one and only Jamie Apps and the one and only Akel in the motherfucking building. Gentlemen, what's good?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah. I'm great, bro. Sounding fantastic as always, bro. I'm just have a lost voice at the moment. We got people in the chat already raring to go. This is the debut episode, man, of True Story, man. Shooting the Shit Uncensored. This is a funeral. This is a rebirth. This is everything and fucking in between, man. I'm excited, and I'm glad you two people can join me here tonight. Cheers for that, boys.
No worries, man. I'm happy to be on, and this is the death of shooting the shit uncensored. It's a long time coming. Good new little revamp, and I'm keen to see what this ends up, being. What it's going to evolve into. I know we put a lot of work in behind the scenes, but I'm genuinely keen to see the next step in the next direction.
Yeah, man, we put a lot of work in this shit, bro, behind the scenes and stuff. And, for us, the, Shooting the Shit brand was cool and everything like that. But, like everything, we need to evolve. We need to grow. And it's I feel like it was an important part of, this show to, go into the next stratosphere, so to speak, and True Story is the way to do it. So I'm excited. We're going to be answering questions in the live chat. You want to know something, you just throw in a question, we'll let it go. But man, Akel, you've been working on the podcast for a little while, man, and I'm glad you can be here. And what do you think this is going to be able to bring for the new product, the new name?
Well, man, I'm keen because I think this it opens it up for a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, I know obviously we did a lot of the local pro wrestling, and we appease the local pro wrestling audience, and that's great. And it's been good covering, such an awesome performative art that we're all a part of. But I think with this rebrand, it opens it up for a lot more interesting things. I know you've been itching to interview all kinds of different people from all walks of life. You got OnlyFans models. You got that's the thing I'm most excited about, the OnlyFans models. But we've got the musicians, everything else, and trading card fucking developers.
For real, man, for real. And like Jamie, you've been kind of like popped out on the Aussie scene a little bit with the Australian wrestling cards, man. You've been doing your thing, man. It's great to see, bro. And even something that's like just even like a revenue generator and a little bit of extra revenue generator for people involved in wrestling as well, to sort of help boost their income as well, man. It's good to see, bro.
Yeah, thanks. So before we do anything, I loved the whole rebrand. I loved the new graphics and everything. I was like, that's a great name. That's a great style for the show. And like Akel said, I think that's going to open you up to a much more broad audience, which is very exciting.
Yeah, man, I definitely hope so, bro. Like it's something that I just feel I wanted something more short, succinct, to the point. And, like the way that the podcast has been going, man, like it's very much leading down into that True Story. We're not really wanting people to come on here and hear a bunch of bullshit and get worked by motherfuckers, bro. And this is it. And if someone comes on there and tries to play that shit, I am not going to hesitate in calling them the fuck out on this podcast and go, hey, I don't believe a fucking word you're saying, and I don't really give a fuck what industry they come from, bro. And that's just kind of how it is. I ain't going to be lied to. You want to come on this, you're going to know it's going to be a real experience.
It's a good 100%. Thing too, because we got Piers, like he's finally doing a lot more. It's a lot more shoot now. You know what I mean? He's using his real voice. We've replaced the AI Piers, and now we've got the real Piers back on. He's got the old croaky voice, the Darren Lockyer for tonight, so that's good.
Hey,
Very
yeah, it's
exciting.
definitely so, bro. 100%, bro. You know, like I feel like that's been a huge catalyst of it, man. And I feel like for me, you know, to get it to where we are now, there's a lot to go into, and there's nothing off topic, there's nothing off limits. Tonight's show, man, is going to be an open conversation. We can talk about absolutely everything and anything, man.
What does this rebrand mean for you, man? Like, honestly, that's what I think more than anything. Like, I know there's mental blockers when your mental goalposts you go through when you're like starting a podcast or any sort of creative project and then evolving it as well. But what to you does this really significantly mean for you? I know for me it's got its own significant meaning to it, but I guess like on your end, how does this like where do you see this sort of new direction going? Like,
I mean,
yeah.
look, dude, I think it's going to get like I want to put it more out there in mainstream media, pop culture media, stuff like that. And you know, if that can bring more eyes into what we're doing with wrestling and everything like that, then that's cool, man. You know what I mean? But for me, it's just about challenging myself. Like, dude, I'm 41, about to be 42 next year, and it's like, do I really want to get to the stage of being 50 and I'm interviewing fucking, you know what I mean? Like, not to sound mean or horrible, but do I want to be interviewing wrestlers at 50? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like there's more to me and there's more to that I can bring and offer, like this sort of this, you know, format and this platform.
Yeah.
It's very similar to when I rebranded and went under the Pario full Pario magazine banner. It was like, let's just tidy this up. Let's make everything a little bit more like professional, broad scope, and like general interest coverage.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so many wrestling fans that you can cater to, and only so many interviews you can do in that space. So
Yeah.
Mm.
open yourself up, expand, challenge yourself, like you said. Like, you may
Well, I
never have
feel
been
like it,
like a musician or a movie director or something, and now this is like a chance to do that sort of stuff. And for me, doing those sort of interviews is, or every interview I've come out being like, I learned something from that.
oh,
Yeah.
100%, man. And as long as you can have fun with doing it, and that's been like the whole, you know, the main process of it for me. And like, dude, like it's like I'll be honest, man. Like the last couple weeks, man, I've been really questioning if I really even want to fucking do this. If I really want to do podcasting, if I, you know, what I mean, part of me was like, dude, I want to fucking end podcasting. I want to back out of doing all wrestling shows. I want to back out of doing all fucking combat sports events and shit like that. And I'm done. I'm just gonna go fucking back out of this and just live fucking do, you know what I mean? Like just do something else. Like I just it got to a point where it's just like, fuck, man, I just it's been such a fucking strain, like 4 years, bro. Like people don't understand, and unless you've lived in this fucking bubble, unless you've done this shit for a long period of time, like I've done, like I've never got burnt out, but the last 2 weeks, man, I've been burnt the fuck out massively to the point where I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore.
And
And
you've
I
been like
noticed
2 shows a week, yeah.
2 shows a week for a long time, and before that, man, I was doing more. I was doing like 3, 4 sometimes a week, bro. Like it was fucking nuts.
Yeah, that'll burn you out quick.
this is what I was
Yeah.
telling you though, man. For a long time, I said like I know when I first came on and started doing this, the biggest thing about it was I remember you told me you said I can't let myself get to a position now where I work myself over to the bone, where I'm having those conversations with my family where it's like, this is like this is putting too much of a strain on your life. You know what I mean? And that was the biggest thing that I was worried for you. I know we had certain conversations today, and even we had a pretty emotional chat today after like the Instagram live and everything. And I'm just here for you, bro. And I know with all this stuff, man, like I see how hard you work and put in all the time, but at the end of the day, if it's not, you need to find the fun in this again. And I
For real,
hope
bro.
that the fucking rebrand is I hope the rebrand is it, because I think the rebrand is going to open you up and expand you to new challenges, to conversations that you want to have. Now you've got like a little bit of a general label. You've got like you had an audience before, and you had a category before, and you had a box that you were in, and that's fine. Everyone needs a set and defined audience, but for you to go and do what you truly want to do and get the most out of podcasting, I think that's going to make you shine. It's going to make your views shine. Your count's going to go up. Everything's going to go up because they can tell you're having fun. You're
Yeah.
not just those 2 a week, bro. 2 a week, it's almost like sometimes you're chasing your own tail, bro. Like I know it's not a lot of
For real.
people don't understand. People think it's not that much, but that 2 a week, bro, that can burn you out because it's like, oh, I remember we'd have conversations. Fuck, we got no one for this week. Who we got? Oh, you get this person on Thursday, get this person on Tuesday, and it's just like instead of being able to chase your own tail, be able to have a bit of a pause and go for what you want. You know what I mean? And I believe when you do that, magic's gonna happen, bro. I believe magic's gonna happen. But
And
what are the fans reckon of the new name?
Yeah, I want to know what people think of the new name in the audience. What do you guys think? But yeah, dude, like you mentioned the Instagram live today, bro. And I look, I don't even know why the fuck I did that. I have no idea. Like I went live on Instagram, man, and fuck, like I don't want to say I had a fucking emotional breakdown on fucking Instagram live or anything, but fuck, dude, it was pretty emotional, and I was pretty raw. And like, dude, it's how I felt, man. And I don't put my shit out there like that, bro. I don't. You know what I mean? Like Aiko, like, you know what I mean? Anyone who really knows me, I'm not like I'm a pretty fucking stoic kind of dude. Like I hold myself to a certain standard. And today was fucking something different, bro, for real. Like that was something that just I don't know why I did it. I don't know what came over me to fucking do it. But it's shit, man, it happened. You know what I mean? Maybe it was just the stress and the burnout and all that shit, bro. But fuck, that's what happens in life, bro. We all have these moments, and you have these moments where you're like, you're burnt, you're frustrated, no matter what it is that you're doing. And yeah, sometimes you just need to take a step back and you just need to reflect on shit, take a deep breath and go, look, man, do I really fucking, is this, what I'm really feeling right now? Or is it because of other factors? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? The like that it actually hit me really hard because I looked at that and the thing was with I see how much you work on a week to week basis, but when I saw Piers Austin's live, like I was just sort of waking up, just sort of did a few things, woke up, tuned into it, and I was like, it was almost like autopilot. Do you know what I mean? But I think like I've seen you go live on your lunchtime or before work, and it was almost like autopilot. I'm like, here comes another live. But whatever that content was, when you had a bit of a breakdown, it was powerful to me, man. Because at the end of the day, it showed, your raw self. Like you're tired of this same routine. I think it was almost a symbolic moment to me, bro. Like you're tired of this same routine. You're done. Like you don't know what, it's this next challenge ahead. It's trying to keep up with all of it. Do you know what I mean? And like, I think it's very important that you had that moment. And for the 5 people that watched it, I don't think people were gonna. I think we're evolved enough in the world to realize now that that's a pretty, it's a raw and it's a real moment, and no one's gonna make fun of you for that, bro. Like everyone has their breaking points.
Bro, no, if they're gonna make fun of me, bro, they ain't gonna say shit to my face. Let's
they're
fucking
gonna cop it back.
right. They get that, you know what I mean? Like, dude, like I don't care. It is what it is, man. Like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, I had an emotional moment, bro, and I decided, and for some reason, I did it on Instagram Live, bro. And fuck, we all fuck up and we all do some silly shit. And fuck, I don't know if what it did was silly, bro. I don't know, but fuck, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it can be. This is a fucking taxing thing, bro, when you're in this world of, I don't know, digital media, podcasting, whatever it is. Like, have you ever gone through that, Jamie? Like, dude, running a magazine, podcast and shit. Like, how do you deal with it?
So yeah, I cut back and did the whole let's do quality over quantity thing there for a while.
Yeah.
And I've found a rhythm. Like that was the key for me, finding a rhythm that isn't like it's still a solid amount of content, but it wasn't killing me. Like before, like when I was still working in a newspaper, that was we were putting out a newspaper every week. That was full on. I was putting out an interview on Monday with a written feature to go alongside it, a podcast on Wednesday, a written movie or music review on Thursday, and another interview on Friday. And I was like, this is destroying my life. I'm not doing anything but working on this stuff. So
that's a lot of content.
I got to the end of 2020 and I was like, right, 2021, I'm going to really find a rhythm that works for me. And I cut it back to interview Monday, podcast Wednesday, written review Friday, and it gives you, it's just that those 2 day gap, like that day gap between each thing. I was like, oh, I can do the work for the next thing in that gap and not feel like I'm destroying my life. Where I was like, I've got to get 2 things done today. This has to be done, then this has to be done. I was like, oh, Jesus, it's just so yeah. Find your rhythm, find what works for you, and once you do that, I think that's when the passion can come back too. And that's the thing. Like, as long as you're passionate about something, you'll push through those hard times. But yeah, sometimes it can be a bit much. And I think with interviews too, people think like, oh yeah, it's for you, like it's an hour. And it's like, no, there's 2-3 hours before doing that hour-long conversation of researching this person, finding what we want to talk about, finding the angle for this story.
Yeah.
We don't just go in and just, well, let's wing it and see what comes out of it. Like, let's find a reason to chat to this person, and then editing and whatever you want to do after that. Like, there's a lot more work that goes into it than just, oh yeah, we'll just jump on and at the spur of the moment have a chat with someone for an hour.
Yeah, I really don't think like a lot of people get it, you know what I mean? But let's go here. Someone asked, Content Cat wants to know, what difference do you want to make to your content programming? You're going to have to tune in to find the fuck out, bro. That's all I can tell you, man. You know, whatever makes you happy, do it. Well said, Adam Poker, you know what I mean? Like, but like, I feel like overall this rebrand, what I want to see come from it is, you know, probably doing a little, you know, and Content Cat, if you just tuned in, this is what I want to do. I want to do different conversations with people outside of professional wrestling. You know, I mean, wrestling's always going to be there and it's going to be involved in this platform for as long as I decide to keep running it. But it's going to be other people as well, man. It's going to be other interesting conversations. It's going to be different things, man. We're going to try and go out and do in-person interviews and all that sort of shit. And you know, we're going to do extra bit of content. We're going to be doing some watch-alongs, fight companions, all that sort of shit. So stay the fuck tuned. Stay the fuck tuned in.
Man, honestly, I'm so keen for like just these little sort of experimental things that we're talking about, and when the audience really gets to see that, like I'm ecstatic for what we can provide. I know it's just gonna be off this sort of, not just using StreamYard, but there's other little platforms we're going to use just to sort of get across like what we're doing. And just like I feel like the charm of a lot of the stuff you were doing with the uncensored charm that you had with shooting the shit uncensored can be presented over, but in just sort of a bit like to some sort of the weirder cases, the more interesting interviews, like the Birdman interviews, like even Mikey Lord Part 1, as much of a train wreck that was as well. But just the interesting, weird fucking people that we can bring on here and showcase. It's beautiful.
Yeah, dude. And look, you know what? Like, wrestling drama will always be there, bro. And look, to be honest, man, like for me, like wrestling podcasting, dude, like, you know, if I look at, I'm trying to say something, I don't want to say this without being fucking arrogant or come across as a fucking prick or like an asshole. I feel like when it comes to Australian wrestling podcasting, like I am the top of the game. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to try and throw shade at you, Jamie, or anyone else, but I look at the numbers and it's like the numbers don't fucking, you know what I mean? Like I'm there and I've like gotten myself to that stage because of bringing on fucking certain people and asking certain questions and you know, maybe trying to, you know, expose train wrecks and put them on a podcast where probably other people have a bit more class and dignity not to do that, whereas I'm like, yeah, fuck it.
Way to put yourself over, Piers.
I'm a whore for this. Well, dude, like I look, I'm not trying to, but that's the way that I felt. Like I felt like I've reached a certain thing. I don't think that if I stayed doing wrestling, I don't think I'm going to go any further than where I'm at.
There's a small ceiling with wrestling. There's a small ceiling with wrestling. Unfortunately, that's the way it works in this country. There's a niche. Like, it's a niche of a niche. It's a fucking super niche, to be honest. Like, we get maybe an average across the country for all shows. I'd like to say it's over 100. But, like, it's fucking low here, man. It's low. And at the end of the day, it's like, as much as we love the wrestling people and we still want to provide content for that circle of wrestling people, it's like it's also there's a big wide world out there, and I think there's a lot of people that will connect with that content too. And I think
I
for
think that's
you,
probably one of the big benefits you're going to have now, branching out into new avenues and new people. You've got 4 years of 2 podcasts a week under your belt. So you're
Yeah.
like, you've had essentially 8 years worth of podcasting experience now. You're
Yeah,
going to
it's-
come into this new name. New people are going to find him like, holy shit, this guy's 2 episodes in and he's fantastic.
Yeah. And that's kind of you know, I hope that people can, man, and it's just it's an interesting standpoint as well, because it's like I looked at the wrestling side of things, and Alex, you and we've had this conversation, you know, a few times, bro, where it's like, dude, I'm getting over wrestling. I'm getting over, like, you know what I mean? This is like, even when I'm not doing the podcast, it's like every day I'm either talking to someone involved in wrestling, or there's a text involved in something wrestling, and wrestling is a conversation. Like it's gotten to a point, bro, where I don't even sit there and, like, I can't watch a WWE or a fucking AEW because it just doesn't you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't interest me.
there's
I
so
sit
much
down
real
and try and
estate.
watch it. I'd sit down and try and watch it and just go, I can't fucking deal with this shit. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to.
Wrestling
Bro,
will consume your life if you let it.
Yeah.
I tried to take a break, like 2 months ago, and I wake up in the morning, I'm still in group chats, I'm still hearing all the wrestling gossip, I'm still doing all the stuff, I can't get away from it, and sometimes it's just so smothering, bro, and you start to realize how small this world really is. Like, you know, you have to, you know, make a distance or take a couple steps away to enjoy it again, bro.
I mean, last Thursday, bro, that was it for me, bro. I was like, fuck. I was just like, fucking hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just, you know, canceling that podcast, you know, and I'm not going to go into the reasons and details. I've explained it to that person. I don't feel like there's no need for me to sort of talk about it, but I got bombarded and message, called. And it's like, dude, I don't deal with, like, you know what I mean? That sort of shit turns me the fuck off life, bro. You know what I mean? When someone blows my phone up like that, and it's like, damn, man, like, fuck, bro, let me breathe. Fuck, you know what I mean? And it's like, that was part of it as well, dude. Like, that got to a point where I was like, I don't even want to fucking do this. Like, after that, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to deal with shit like this. Like, fuck, man, fuck, I can't even, you know what I mean?
I'm the one person in the world that probably can, in that specific situation, relate to you, if not more so. The amount of times I've tried to stick up for that guy, or, you know, or granted, you know, granted he's given me a lot of opportunities early on, but just to support, I guess, the behavior that I've told him is wrong multiple times over and over again, and then for him to not even acknowledge that, it's just ridiculous. And fucking, you know, sometimes, like, with people in life, you're not the person to give him that redemption story, and I don't think he even knows what that is. Fucking, I hope he gets well. I've always fucking been in his corner, like, up until the past 2 years, but now it's you having him on was not going to do you any favors, man. Maybe
No.
you would have got another view spike, another 1,000 views, but then you've got the hassle of fucking, you know, having that guy, like, message over and over and over again. And as a friend, it's draining. As a person who just wants to see someone get rehabilitated and get better, walk in the right direction, it's toxic. And there's a point where you just have to jump off, bro.
Bro, like, to be honest, man, I wish nothing but love to everybody, bro. I wish nothing but, you know, everything but love and peace to everyone, man. Because, like, dude, like, fuck everyone. Like, dude, life is just so much easier when it's fucking, when there's just peace and tranquility. You know what I mean? Like, when life isn't fucking intense and stressful and shit like that. But you know what, dude? Like, I build up stress and fucking shit in my head all the fucking time. Like, easier said than done. Like, I'll sit there and I'll be laying in bed next to my wife at night, and I'll be doing something on my phone going, oh fuck, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, next, you know, I'm up for 6 hours and I'm fucking, you know what I mean, on the phone downstairs in the studio, like, all right, I'm going to sort this out or whatever. And it's like, you know, like, I feel like that's the main part of it, man. Like when people can't shut their brain off to certain shit, and it's hard, man. Like when you're wired, like I feel like the three of us are wired, like when we're so like in that creative space and when you're in that content space, it's like your brain, like, dude, I don't know about you guys, man, but I just like, for me just to fucking snap off and just like, even when I'm sitting there watching TV or a movie, like it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Or
it's
like
fun.
an idea will pop in your head and you're like, oh shit, I gotta go do that now.
Yeah. Like
I can't just take a note and come back to this tomorrow. Like I better go do that right
Yeah.
away.
But
it's so fun.
I had to drop 2 pieces of content today to go and do 2 other pieces of content, and then I went over to training hall to do another piece of content, and then come back here and do a live piece of content. And it's my day off. I'm tired, man. But it's the grind, man, and we're gonna get there.
Hey, well, that, you know, I feel like that's just the main part of it, man. When you, like I said, when you have that mindset and you have that drive, and when you're a content creator and when you're a creator in general, you know, like you just want to get there. But dude, like, one thing I want to ask you guys, I found this interesting is, did you see that exchange? I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Like, I'm not sure if you're a UFC fan or not, Jamie, but Sean Strickland went on fucking Twitter, and I'm not sure if he had a couple of fucking Coors Lights that night or whatever the fuck that he drinks. But him and Valentina Shevchenko started going at it on Twitter. And, you know, he, like, what was the statement that he made, Alex? It was something about like, what's her name? The fucking MMA.
Yeah, he said he was talking about MMA.
Paige Van
Paige Van
I don't care.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he was like, I don't
when
care. Like,
she claimed to have made more money.
I don't care how good you are. Like, there's not a chance he's ever beating me at all. Like, and it's just weird punching down, man. Like, he's just got this. I don't know what it is with his brain, man. He's nuts. Sean Strickland.
Yeah, she claim that she earned more money on OnlyFans in like 1 year than she earned in her entire UFC career, and he basically came out and was like, yeah, because people weren't paying to watch you fight, they were paying to see your body.
Fuck.
I was like, let me find the tweets here, because this is like fucking Paige Van Zandt. Yeah, because it was like, but you know what, like, as much like, this is what I feel about him, bro, is like he's pretty fucking goofy, but like in reality, dude, like, fuck, what he said, some of it actually made a little bit of fucking sense. You know what I mean? Like, it was like more men would rather pay to see you naked than fucking see you fight. Bruh,
sadly, it is the case, you know, with a lot of people. I love women's MMA. Like, I fucking, like, Joanna Jędrzejczyk is probably my favorite all-round fighter. Like, I love her to bits. I just love her, like, I love that she drags out to 5 rounds. She makes an absolute war. Like, even with Weili Zhang, like, dude, like, some of those fights are incredible. Even the one with Karolina Kowalkiewicz, like, I love women's MMA, man. So I don't fully back him up, but I don't know. Like, the rest of the world, you know, I don't know if they all view it the same way, and that's a shame right now. But I think one day it'll get there.
His tweet was, Paige Van Zandt said she made more money in 24 hours than she did in the UFC. Let's unpack this.
Hey, I gotta go back to it.
1, you were signed because you're hot. 2, women's MMA is lame. 3, men will pay more to see you naked than to watch you fight. Now, I don't agree women's MMA is lame. I don't agree with that. You were signed because she's hot. Okay, maybe. Like, Paige Van Zandt was a decent fighter, like, you know, when she started the UFC. Men will pay more to see you naked than to watch you fight. That's kind of a reality, bro. What the fuck are we doing here? Oh, that was fucking terrible, bro.
That was a back roll.
I'm gonna do a backflip. I can't. Oh, fuck, give me a
standing backflip, bro. We're gonna see Akel break his fucking neck on True Story.
Roll, okay? A back roll.
A black roll.
Get destroyed.
Okay, well done.
That's the best you're getting, guys.
That's the best we're getting. But like
True
in
story.
reality, man, it's if we look at Mandy Rose when she left fucking WWE and she made like $1 million in her first day on fucking OnlyFans as well. I mean, like, you know, in reality, it's like, yeah, cool. Like I tune in to watch her wrestle, but if there was a fucking $5 video to see her getting balled out, I'm probably gonna fucking watch it. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to be fucking horrible.
I don't get the appeal of OnlyFans. I've never understood it.
Look, man, I don't blame anyone for doing it, man. Go make that money, boo boo. Like straight the fuck out.
Oh, 100%.
But-
Fucking oath.
I guess there's like scales on what different people do too. Like some of them are just glorified Instagrams, and then other ones are like, oh, I'm seeing a lot here.
Which is amazing.
I feel like if you put yourself out there on that certain platform, that you are going to, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you how I really feel. I feel like if women want to go out there and put themselves on that sort of platform, then they are opening themselves up to everything that comes with it. Now, if that's in the world of professional wrestling or the world of fighting, okay, cool. But then you can't really sit there and go like, oh, I'm this woman, I'm this feminist and blah, 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 blah. I want respect and all this sort of shit. You deserve respect, but then don't do another tweet saying, hey, go subscribe to my OnlyFans and get 20% off, because that shit's just fucking like, you like so much contradictory shit is said by these people. Whereas like, I don't know, man. I just don't. You know what I mean? Like, cool. I'm all for respect. I'm all for that. But like, a lot of their stuff is contradictory and shit. Like, I want to be respected as a woman and stuff like that. If you're on OnlyFans selling, photos and videos of yourself, there's going to be a certain level of male that isn't going to respect that. Does that make sense? There's going to be a certain level of people, not just males, that don't respect that.
I don't fully subscribe to that. Like, I think, obviously, for the most part, like I think for people, like you are opening yourself up to be sexualized, and you're essentially asking that for a price. You're essentially like bartering that for a price, right? I think respect is a different thing. I think it's finding a middle ground between that. I think respect. I think having the respect for general common respect between one person to another, and not saying like, oh, you're a woman, or all you're good for is horrible.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I think there's just always going to be shit people in the world. There's always going to be those people that are like, show me more, do this. I don't want to pay for this, just show it.
Yeah. There's always going to be people that are going to be advantageous. There's always going to be people that are going to like demean,
push it to the extreme. Well,
but it's like Jordan Grace. I saw a thing of her, and it was like, I want to be respected as a female in professional wrestling, and blah blah blah. And then the next photo was like a naked photo of her with like 2 cakes smashed on her breast and smashed in a crotch, saying, "Go subscribe to my OnlyFans." It's like, dude, what the like? You know what I mean? Like, you're a part-time wrestler and a full-time, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's be real. You're a full-time porn star, sex worker, and a part-time wrestler.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the issue with that is the like people don't understand, and maybe, I guess for the most part, is that the porn industry is one of those industries that isn't actually, it's not really protected by like the general societal norms or how they evolve and how they change and the morals and the values and everything else. The porn world is the world that we don't talk about. And you go on a Pornhub and you got to see the most disgusting shit all the time. Like, obviously, from a few horrible, obvious things that you couldn't have on, like, with children and all that horrible shit. But the Pornhub, it's pretty much, you can get sort of anything you want, and people don't see that that's actually it's open reign, it's free reign, because no one talks about it. Everyone uses private browsing, incognito mode, unless you're just a ballsy motherfucker and you want to do whatever. You want to just leave your browsing history open for people, but like, that's just the way it is. Porn's not going to be.
Also,
sorry, what was that?
It's basically like the wrestling industry. Like, every person in that industry is an independent contractor, so it's up to them as individuals to stand up for, no, I'm not doing that, or I want to be paid this much. Like, I'm not going to do that for that amount of money. But then, if you don't, then you just don't succeed, and it's like, oh, it's just wrestling. It's like, you either do the thing that the promoter wants you to do for that price, or you're just not on the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
100%. This is what we need from you tonight. If you can't do that, then fuck, peace out. You know what I mean? Like that's
There's
basically
half a
what it
dozen
is.
other people that will.
100%.
I've never got the concept of like, what is the concept? Is it like, why do people pay for OnlyFans when there's the amount like the like just a fucking library of free porn out there? Like, I don't get it.
They're simps, bro. Like, are you really going to sit like, bro, can you imagine what it's going to be like in like fucking 40, 50 years time when fucking people like our generation of grandparents is like, hey, Grandpa Piers, can you tell me how you met Nana? Well, yeah, basically I saw this fucking fire ass bitch on Instagram. I hit her up. She goes, I don't reply here. You have to subscribe to my OnlyFans. So I subscribed to that OnlyFans page. And then next thing you know, she's like, hey, if you want to fucking talk to me, blah, 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 you do it here. So we started talking. I started sending her more and more money. And then like I became a thing called a sugar daddy, and then basically, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of the way that I see the world fucking evolving, bro. Like that's scary shit because I feel like it's setting, you know, like there's a generation of young men that see that is like that affection, romance, and relationships are now becoming transactional.
Probably. I think I don't even know if we'll have. I think we're all just going to transcend into one giant supercomputer and all be happy in the next 2 generations anyway. I don't think we're even going to live past fucking. I don't even think I'm going to. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have grandkids, bro.
I don't think this is getting sexist. I think this is just an open conversation content, Cat. And if you can't handle it, bro, like I said, leave. Like there's no sexist comments here. I'm not saying anything bad or indifferent. We're just talking about an industry. Simple as that.
We are talking about an industry, and it's the hardest part about these conversations is like conversations require nuance, and if people need to, in whatever way, be kind of educated on certain things, like then you need to listen to those people. Like, fair enough. If you think like either three of us right now are being ignorant, right? Why would the first idea to be to label it as any certain thing as opposed to maybe educating and talking and having discussion? I think that's too much of what this world is these days. I think the issue is people aren't actually communicating with each other and actually like educating some people. Like people are shocked that people that are 80 are saying racist and sexist, homophobic things now. And I understand that. It's horrible, right? It's horrible that they're 80-year-old, but they grew up in that world. So why the fuck are we just going to feign ignorance on that sort of sense? There's a lot of people.
I don't look, bro. It's different generations, man. Like my mum was born in the 50s, bro. She grew up in the 50s and 60s in her childhood, bro. She had a cat that was all black that my grandfather named, and I'm going to say a different word, neighbor, right? But in the same sense, my grandfather wasn't a racist. My family aren't racist. It's just that word back then was socially acceptable. You know what I mean? Just like in the 90s, that fucking the shit that we saw on Jerry Springer and Monday Night Raw and like, you know, all that sort of level of pop culture is because in pop culture, that shit was socially fucking acceptable. And now that shit has changed and we live in this culture where everyone has to is smothered in cotton wool and everyone's afraid of a little bit of a real talk. And as straight away, it's like, nah, you need to get cancelled.
Look, like, I think it's important that we do look after people, like people's mental health, especially, and make sure that people feel comfortable in their own setting, and make sure people feel like they are addressed the way they want to be addressed. I think that's very important. I think it's very important that all of us, we are treated with respect. I do think that. But where my thing gets out of line with that kind of stuff is when I look at someone who's, you know, a bit older from a different generation, and someone says, "No, you should know that's right." Well, things are changing. This is a very, very transformational world, and the internet has changed everything, and information at a rapid rate. You know, literature, all literature from back in the day. You know, things are changing and evolving and quicker, and AI and everything else. I mean, you got to understand, people. We have to be at least tolerant to people's ignorance in understanding, maybe sometimes, and then maybe
Like-
that people just genuinely have a different opinion to you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
why can't that be a thing?
I've
Yeah.
got like no problem with people wanting to like use those platforms and anything like that. Like, if you want to do that, do that. But just understand that there are going to be people that jump on there or go into the comments on your social media and take it to the horrible extremes that you didn't really want. Like, there are going to be stigmas and consequences that come with those things.
And we need to
100%.
And like,
You need to block
look
that
back
out.
at even like looking back to when I was in high school and primary school and stuff. If something was like dumb or stupid, we would say, "Oh, that's gay," and it's like at that time, we didn't mean like, "Oh, that's homosexual" or anything. It was just like, "Oh, that's dumb." It was just a different word for dumb.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now, if you said something was that, someone's gonna lose their mind. It's like that's yeah. Now I can see that as an 8-year-old kid,
Mm.
nobody saw it that way.
But dude, you know what? Like when
Like,
I
that's
was
how
growing
quickly
up,
things change.
dude, I
100%.
grew up, man. My parents were hippies, bro. So like, I remember being like 10 years old and coming home or something like that, or being out in the yard, and I said to my friend, I go, "Huh, that's gay," or whatever, like, you know what I mean, something like that. And my mum pulled me aside and she educated me. She goes, "Do you know what that word means? Do you know what it means when someone's that?" I go, "I don't know. I just heard it at school. It just sounded like a funny thing to call my friend." Like, I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand what that word meant.
Mm.
And when she sat there and she goes, "Well, blah, 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 like, you know, your Auntie Michelle and blah, blah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And like, you know what I mean? Akel is someone I've known for a few years and spoken to regularly because of the podcast. Dude, like, I don't tolerate homophobic comments. I don't tolerate that shit. You know what I mean? Because like, you know what I mean? I understand it as the way I was raised, but I also had a friend kill himself who was gay, who didn't think people would accept themselves when we were 15 years old. And that shit has fucking sat with me. And I love that person. And I'll never let anyone say like homophobic shit around me. Just because that shit connects with me, I won't let that happen. But in the same sense, it's like if someone's like slips up and says something like, "Oh, blah, 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 blah," like that, I'm not going to sit there and hold them accountable. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just sit there and go, "All right, fuck, that's not really what I want to hear." But if they're going on about something like that and using those sort of slurs, then I'm going to sit there and go, "Nah, that doesn't fly." You know what I mean? But
Yeah, it's contextual. It's like you got to sort of look at it and look at the meaning behind the things that they're saying. Like, is it said in like not a serious way, like it was or back then, but then are they doing it maliciously? Are they trying to
the
hurt
intent.
someone with what they're saying? It's like, oh yeah, no, that's not
Yeah.
on.
like, but like, I think that even the whole pronoun thing, bro, like, I'm open to it, man. I'm 41 years of age, bro. Like, I come from that old fucking generation, bro. But like, I'm still open to fucking accepting people. It's like, if you turn around and said, "Hey, don't call me mate, don't call me bro, or I'm they or them," I'd be like, "All right, cool." But I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna fuck up over the time, and I'm gonna say, "Call you bro," because I call everyone that. But please don't, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it to fuck with you. It's just, it's, you know what I mean? I'm trying here. You know what I mean? I'm trying to adjust into this society with you people, and I'm trying to like be cool with everybody. But in the same sense, if you try and cancel me because like you're a they and a them and I call you a bro, like, fuck, man, like, give me some breathing room.
Especially if it's someone you don't have like a close relationship and like you're just basing it on that initial physical appearance.
Yeah.
Like, I look at someone, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a woman, and then they go, oh no, I'm this instead. And you're like, oh, I had no idea, but now I know. I will do my best to not stuff that up.
For sure.
Yeah, man. But like, yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like that's probably the hardest thing in society, where you see like a lot of people like they get very upset if you do pronounce a mislike. But if they're not walking around with that on their shirt, you know what I mean, what their pronouns are and what they want to be called, it's like, you know, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, fuck yes, you know what I mean? Like, in my mind, it's a duck. You know what I mean? But fuck, you know what I mean? In this day and age, we're wrong. We're different, you know, so.
I feel like if if the if the energy between two people is correct, with the expectation of tolerance should also come with another expectation of a tolerance for a different person's situation. For someone who isn't fully educated on the matter, I think there should be a same expectation of tolerance for someone who doesn't completely get it as towards someone who wants to be referred as something.
Yeah.
And if there was just a little bit more breathing room to that situation and we were all not on guard and combative so much, it wouldn't be that much of an issue. And that's on both sides as well.
Look,
Like
dude,
if someone's misgendering you repeatedly, like over and over after you've said like,
Yeah.
hey, no, I want to use these pronouns instead, and they continue to just use whatever, like, yeah, then you can call them out. But like,
Yeah, then you can go on that.
if,
And
if they say it like once and you're like, oh no, I'd prefer if you use this, don't jump
I've
down
only
their
had
throat on
positive
that first
experiences in
occasion.
that situation too. Sorry.
Well, dude, there was someone who was involved in wrestling who's no longer involved, and I don't really feel like I need to explain it much more than that. And they use certain pronouns, and I remember seeing them at a show here in Sydney. And again, like I call everyone bro. I call Rochelle Rogue bro. I call fucking, you know what I mean? I call everyone bro. It's not like a gender thing for me. It's just how I talk. Hey, bro, what's up, bro? Like, even my wife has to remind me. She's like, don't call me fucking bro. Like, I'm your wife. I'm like, oh, shit. I accidentally called my kids bro. And it's like, but like, see this person, hey, bro, don't call, and in front of a fucking locker room, don't call me that. I am not your bro. And I'm like, what the fuck, cunt? I'm like, what? And then it was like, then they went on to tell me that I should, when I'm ring announcing, not say good evening, ladies and gentlemen, but good evening, everyone. And I went, okay, I'll do that. You know what I mean? It was like, because, dude, I'm not a fucking asshole. Like, I'm not going to sit there and go, I'm getting to this person. I'm going to keep tormenting him.
Yeah.
Depending who they are. But, like, you know what I mean? For the most part, I'm not going to go out and try and fuck with someone that hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, no one would want to do that. I don't think a lot of people have that in them. Like, I think maybe there's a select few people that I just can't. But I mean, fuck. I mean, I would never want to act malicious in that way. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't get I don't get the whole thing really, to be honest. Like why people would want to choose to be a cunt. I don't never got that sort of ideology to me. I see a lot of people out there that come across that way, and people will say like, why are you fucking trying to reason with that guy? Don't you know he's a cunt? And I'm like, no, he's not a cunt. He's sweet. And then 4 months down the line, you start realizing they're a cunt.
I identify as a cunt. I identify as one. But like, I feel like if we just be cool, like we don't like, and that's the thing where we see like people getting cancelled, and people are so quick to get cancelled and to jump down people's throats. And I've always said it's just about education. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone my age and above is going to be as open as someone like I am to fucking all this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, going back to even the OnlyFans stuff, man. Like I said earlier, I don't hate on anyone for doing it. Go make your money. Like, if you're going to go on feetfinder.com and make $1,000 a month, go make that bread. Go make that bag.
Pretty good income, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's better than podcasting. Fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something
catalog.
But what about the wrestling scene, man? Like, I feel like, there's always something going on in Australian wrestling. There's always some sort of drama. There's always some sort of beef. And like, fuck, what's been happening? What has been going on at the moment?
But I refuse to try and acknowledge at the moment. It keeps me sane. Like, I've been training 5 days, almost like 5 days a week the past 2 weeks. I do the 3 days at Rock and Roll, and then I do the 3 days now at Bexley for Australian Wrestling School. So I've just been focused on the training and more so than anything else. Like, I know there's like a lot of things going on with like just politics and people wanting to be places and people being angry at certain things. And then, like new feds starting up. There's going to be like a new wave of them soon. There's always a couple of new pop-up feds, and then we see ones that really succeed. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like the wrestling world's kind of like cyclical. Like it always just repeats itself every 3 years, and there's a new thing that comes out and everything else. But no one really. The sad thing about wrestling, I don't know. I want to say right now, I don't think anyone's found a way to crack that mold yet. Like and make it really good. Obviously, PWA's leagues ahead the rest of them.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't know what their ceiling is, and I hope there isn't really a ceiling for Australian wrestling. But it seems like right now, we're not doing incredible.
I mean, look, to be honest, I like, besides Ben Braxton and Lena Cross, I don't think there's many people out there that have that level of signability in Australian wrestling at the moment. Maybe like you have someone like a Damian Slater or, one or two other people. But like for me, I think Ben Braxton and Lena Cross are the two standouts in this country right now. And I think that they're on borrowed time here. I think Lena's actually just already moved to the States, but I think it's only a matter of time before she gets signed.
Yeah, and I would put Delta in that list as well. I think Delta's another one that could very easily jump, but then she also has that issue of if she went to a WWE or something, she's just new wave Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Like it's a very similar style and gimmick, but yeah. Lena Cross and Ben Braxton, like their athletic ability and their looks matter.
And torture.
And the velocities. Just
yeah, but I mean, like I love the Velocities. I love both of them. They're great dudes. I've been on shows with them. I consider both of them friends. But you know what I mean? Have they got the signability for a WWE or an AEW? And I'm not saying they do or they don't, but that's the question that I have is like, and I don't want to say because they're small and stuff like that, but it's like, you know what I mean? But that is also a factor, bro. Like the size thing, is that going to hold them back?
I would definitely say they're more New Japan likely.
Yeah, that junior
and AEW
heavyweight
too, I think.
Yeah, I could see them going over to New Japan and running that junior tag division alongside like a El Desperado and TJP and like that sort of crop of guys.
Yeah, no worries. PWA is the best though. To be honest, I think UE Pro is probably one of the best premier promotions out there as far as like wrestling goes. And I think PWA to a certain extent, I think PWA has great production. But if I'm going to sit there and go wrestling, I'd probably go MCW and UE Pro. They're the two top for me in this country. And I could be wrong, but that's just an opinion, bro. And I'm not throwing shade at anyone at PWA. I've got a lot of people I love and respect over there. But that's just how I feel. I feel like I can give that honest assessment. You know what I mean?
I think EPW is very overlooked as well.
Yes, yeah. EPW is very, very overlooked.
They need to get on the fucking streaming thing, bro. That's where they need to be.
Oh, yeah. If they could get on Fight and try and run their shows earlier local time so that they're on at a good East Coast time, I think they could really explode.
Yeah, the Pariah is another tag team I would put up there, bro. They look like fucking money. They look like fucking money. Even Top Tier, bro. That tag team as well. Guys that can go. There are people in this country that can go.
And the Pariah get reactions. They know how to piss people off.
Yeah.
Me and the group chat have a joke. Group chat, because I always fucking. It's about a year ago now. I said to him, I was like, "Look, Braxton's next up, no doubt about it." And like it's slowly coming true. And I'm like, I'm telling you, he's next. He's fucking next. Every time I see him, I'm like, Braxton next up, bro. Let's do it. And he's
first time I saw Braxton, he blew me away.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I saw I was at Coliseum just watching, and he came out, and I heard this chick just go like she just did this one, and I was like, yeah, that's powerful. If a chick just goes like, ooh, like that, sold.
Yeah,
but you know what though, that's
springboard moonsault like got me. I was like, oh geez, okay, this guy's over 6 feet tall and just did a springboard moonsault and made it look easy.
Yeah. But that's the thing as well. Like, I think that, him, like, even when he comes out, you see this presence that he has, and he's not really a big promo guy. Like, you don't see a lot of promos coming out from Braxton, but man, he's good. Man, he's impressive. And that's the thing I saw straight away. Like, I remember seeing, like, a couple years ago, I said it. I was like, man, this guy is like, same thing when I saw Wahlberg and I didn't even realize he'd been signed when I first saw him. And I'm like, as soon as I saw this guy come out, it was at a PWA Academy show. And I'm just like, straight after COVID. And this guy comes out and like going, fuck me, this guy's got to be signed. And then I took my cousin, my young cousin, to an IWA show, and he wrestled on that. And it was like Matty Wahlberg was like, he was just like, this guy's fucking cool as fuck. Like he was going, this guy's got it. And now when my little cousin sees that, Grayson Waller on WWE, he's like, I can't believe I saw this guy wrestle in front of like 100 people at St. John's. You know what I mean? Like, it's nuts.
I think I saw him in front of 20 people in Dapto at Rock and Roll Wrestling.
Oh, really?
And I was like, yeah, like at an academy show for rock and roll. And I was like,
but you know what?
This is wild to see this guy now in the ring with like John Cena and the top dogs.
You know what, bro? Like, he has always like had a bit of a mixed reputation, so to speak. Like, I've heard a lot of stories about him being an asshole, being a bully, being a prick, being all these things. Any interaction I've ever had with him, I didn't see it. Like, he was always cool with me. But like, I feel, like some things are always warranted, man. And it's like I've said before, you can ask two different motherfucking people their opinion on me. One person's going to tell you I'm the sweetest, most amazing person in the world. That'll give you the shirt off my back. That'll do anything for you at the drop of a hat. You can call at any time and I'm going to answer and say, hey, I'm on my way with the shovel and a fucking body bag. And then there's someone else that's going to turn around and say I'm the biggest fucking scumbag in the world. And I say believe them both, man, because depending on who you are and how you treat me is depending on who you get. So, man, he could be all of those things. But, like, at the end of the day, the things I've heard from how he's been since he's been over there, like when we had the Lee Morrow podcast where Lee had a bit of I don't want to say episode, but when he had a bit of an emotional moment on the podcast, you know what I mean? Wahlberg hit him up. You know what I mean? When Khalid passed away, bro, he fucking donated a large sum of money to Carl's feud. You know what I mean? He didn't need to do that. He didn't need to reach out to fucking, Lee Morrow. You know what I mean? They'd never trained to, different gyms. You know what I mean? PWA and Lee Morrow. But, like, still, he didn't need to do that. But he did. And I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the sign of a good human being, bro, deep down. Like, yeah, he might have like upset a few people along the way, but that's fucking life, bro. That's the wrestling business, man. It's going to be political. It's going to be cutthroat. And you know what I mean? Like, you can't be soft skin in this game, bro. You can't, because as soon as you
unapologetic. You got to be unapologetic.
Bro, you have to have a certain level of motherfucking cunt in you to be successful. And I'm not saying he's a cunt, but he's got look at how successful he is. He's got to have a certain level of ruthlessness and be able to be thick-skinned enough to be able to hang at that level, bro. To be able to take constructive criticism from a Vince McMahon or a Triple H going, I don't like that shit. Don't ever fucking do that again. Okay, with someone else, if you, shit. Like, you just got to keep on rolling with that shit.
Yeah, it was really nice what he like sort of did all those little things, like reached out to Lee Morrow, even though Lee Morrow is a bum. But like, regardless of that, like, the way I look at it is like, with him, I've only met him once, right? And it was a really, probably like an awkward encounter, like probably, I don't know. Anyway, so my...
Like your sexual encounters, huh?
Yeah, well, no, not exactly. Well, look, let me get to it. It was a front yard wrestling show.
I heard about this. TNT fucking leased a ring out to a fucking bunch of backyarders.
Not exactly. It was more of a project for a film thing. That's what I was told. Anyway, so we get there. And we're meant to go to the backyard. We went to go to the backyard. We get to the backyard. I'm like, there's no way there's a ring fit in here. So we go to the front yard, right? The front yard is on a hill. It's like sloped like this. So we're trying to figure out a way to put this ring in the front yard. And these guys were great. They had like a merch desk. They had like a little COVID hand sanitizer. They were ready, bro. They were kitted out. They were better than most indie shows I've ever seen. Anyways, all the PWA boys came down and we had to wrestle in this thing, but I actually had to dig a trench in the backyard, in the front yard, to fit the poles in because it was unlevel. It was the best time of my life, bro. I swear to God, it was the best experience ever.
Did
And
you get
after the
booked on
match,
that show? Were you booked
huh?
on that show? Did you wrestle
Oh,
on that show?
we just did a training match. Yeah,
You did a training match at a fucking backyard show?
I didn't even have gear, bro. It was the most cooked thing I've ever seen in my life. I get back, I get fucking back after the match, and I see him there, and I'm like, oh hey man, you look familiar. Hey man, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. What'd you think of the match? And he's like, yeah, bro, it's good. It's one of those why are we here moments. But fuck man, wrestling's such a blast sometimes.
But you know what, dude? Like that's the thing as well. Like, and I think like even Vinny Vayner said this, bro. Is like certain people in the business turn up to shows just to laugh at it and just to take the piss out of the product. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, when it's a front yard show, it might be justified.
yeah, 100%, bro. Backyard shows, fucking different story, man. But I think wrestling in general, man, that sort of shit. You know, we see that a lot, and it's not just in Australia, bro. It's like you see that internationally as well, bro. Like I know. Juan Jeremy told me that shit as well. Like he's told his students, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to go to this show. He's like, why? Oh yeah, just to watch it. He's like, no, you're going to go there and make fun of it. Don't fucking hold yourself to a higher level. You know what I mean? Like you train at Gleason's. We don't fucking play that shit. You know what I mean? Like we're here. Like,
there needs to be more people that follow suit like that, bro. Because we're all just trying to learn. And some people have different levels, and then some coaches have different levels too. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, you know, like it's not.
I just turn around and say, I've turned around and said to people, it's like, so you're a wrestler that's not booked on this show, but you've come to this show just to laugh at it. Cool. Your life must be really fucking fulfilling. You know what I mean? Like you have nothing better to fucking do. Like if I'm not booked on a show, besides I think the rock and roll show I went to recently, I don't fucking go, like, even then I was there to do something on the show to build to something, but like, I'm not fucking, you know what I mean? Like I very rarely I very rarely go to shows that I'm booked.
Who is it that gets accused of making fun of people on shows? Is it PWA?
Oh, I've seen certain people from there, but like I said, there's a lot of good people there too. But there's, I mean, it's like anywhere, bro. It's like anywhere in any organization, any group of people. There's going to be good and there's going to be bad. Like I'm not going to like name names and shit because I don't really like. I just don't really feel like it's justified. But I will say this: there has been times I'm sitting there like going, "Really, you're the one fucking pointing fingers and laughing? There's no fucking mirrors in your house." Like, you know what I mean? Like certain people, I'm like, really? You're not exactly fucking like, you know, knocking down the world here. Like you're not in a position to be making fun of others, but you know, it's wrestling, man. It's fucking.
Yeah. I'm all for wrestling being like a place where I'm all for like, saying that the standard is too low on this scene. On average, altogether, the standard is too low for getting in the ring. Across all platforms. I'm not going to name any company, but there are a lot of people that are in the ring in Sydney, Newcastle, Wollongong. No, not Wollongong. Actually, Wollongong is fucking tight as fuck. Never mind. Newcastle, Sydney, around areas, probably Melbourne. There's people that aren't meant to be in the ring, right? And they probably shouldn't be there. They've gotten there for whatever reason. They've known somebody that's known somebody that's known somebody. And I agree with that. But at the end of the day, there is, for a lot of people that are training and are putting the work in, have trained, a little bit of liberation for people to mess up. Because at this level, that's what we do. We mess up. We're learning. The training shows experience. The shows, everything is an experience. Everything is an experience.
I don't think I've ever watched a wrestling show where there wasn't some fucking mistake happen.
Yeah, and that goes from higher levels to anywhere. You know what I mean?
100%. But the thing is as well, bro, most fans aren't going to pick that shit up. It's like if you go to see a fucking Kiss concert, right, and fucking, you know, Paul Stanley forgets a word in a lyric, you don't see Gene Simmons go, nah, you fucked up there, Paul. Stop. No, you just keep fucking rolling with it, bro. And that's kind of what they do with wrestling as well, bro. Like I've seen a lot of people, you know, have matches and stuff and you know, where mistakes or botch, like whatever the fuck you want to call it, bro. Like, dude, you're doing a live stunt show. things are gonna fucking go wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not because you're a bad wrestler. I've seen really good wrestlers have shit that could go pear-shaped. You know, we see the Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio thing, which could have ended fucking catastrophic. Rey Mysterio, how long's he been doing this shit? Logan Paul, hell of an athlete. I can guarantee you he's had amazing training. You know what I mean? Like to be at the level that he can go out there and perform on, because they're not going to put him out there if he's dangerous. So
Who
like,
else? Yeah.
But for me, that's what makes a good wrestler someone that can adapt when something goes wrong.
100%. Yeah.
It's when you see someone look at it and be like, let's just do that thing again because we stuffed it up. Like, now you just took me out of it.
Yeah, for real. Like I remember seeing like the only match I can remember seeing which was fucking one of the worst matches I've ever seen, was when I was at a friend's house and they showed me fucking Sabu versus fucking Sandman from like 1997, and that shit fucking wrecked me. Like
That's
that
the
shit.
best match I've ever seen in my life. On repeat
That was
all the time.
just one guy who was drunk as fuck and another guy in a fucking soma coma just going at it.
I loved it, bro. I loved it. Everything about that. It's beautiful. I love messy shit. I love shit that looks messy. You know, you got to be clean, but when it's messy, it's beautiful.
But that's it. In a mixed martial arts fight, you don't see like, dude, like even in boxing and Muay Thai and MMA and shit like that, bro, as soon as someone gets punched in the fucking face, bro, that technique goes out the window. You know what I mean? Like, I can tell you now, I can show you the proper technique, the 1-2 for a boxing thing like that. And you'll be like, I ain't seen that in a fucking fight, because it's different. Pads don't hit back. A bag doesn't hit back. You know what I mean? When you're in a fight for your life, you're just going to throw them. And I feel like sometimes wrestling can be too clean and too crisp. You know what I mean? Like you go back and look at like a gentleman Chris Adams, when you see him do a super kick compared to like a Shawn Michaels and everyone else that's done it in between, then gentleman Chris Adams would take your fucking head off. Like it looked like he was a fucking, like your head's going to be in the fucking third row. You know what I mean? So sometimes having it look a little bit nasty and shit. You'll love my toilet then, Kel.
Bet you I would, mate. Like, what was it? When was that last AWS show? Was it September 30th? I went out there and I'm used to having a bit of a plan. Like I usually call most of my stuff, but you know, I was looking at Tyson Gibbs and I was like, oh, what are we doing? And he just went out there and beat the shit out of me. So I'm going to go out there and beat the shit out of you. And when you feel the need to take over, you come and take over. Then I'm going to give it right back to you. And I'm going to put my nuts in your mouth. And he did.
And it was one of the greatest experiences of your life.
The best moment of your life.
But that's the thing, man. Like when you can go, like the whole like guys saying working on the fly and playing matches and stuff like that, and you see veterans going, oh, these guys don't know how to work on the fly, they should just go out there and do it. But it's like, okay, they could go out there and do it and not know how to do it and fucking stink the place up, or they can go out there and do what they know is going to look good and put things together. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, bro, most of the fans at these on the average wrestling show, bro, isn't sitting there going, that was a fucking planned spot. That was planned. You're not working on the fly. The fans don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like they don't give a fuck as long as it's entertaining.
Yeah. Well, the places in Sydney where a lot of the you know, a lot of the hardcore people go, a lot of the hardcore fans go, there's mostly 90% planned spots anyway, right? Like that's sort of the way it is. I mean, like, and they don't care about a planned spot. They just want to see big false finishes over and over again, and you know, to trick in the more sort of educated of wrestling fans.
Yeah, man, for real, bro, for real. You know, I feel, you know, wrestling in general though, man, like, you know, when I do try and sit down and watch it, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the times I'm sitting there and it's like I skim through shit so much because it's like I can't watch a whole fucking show. You know what I mean? Like I can't, like, unless it's a show I'm at or it's like a show that friends of mine are on, then yeah, I'll go and like watch it and try and support them. But for the most part, bro, I can't sit there and, you know, get into what's on mainstream television at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm more
Well, you-
I'm more into fucking like mafia documentaries and shit like that, and listening to Michael Francis and Sonny the Bull Gravano, and hearing interesting shit like that from real life experiences. But like, I don't know, man. I hope I can find my love again.
Well, yeah. I mean, I mostly watch wrestling now to like break down people's work, just because that's like pretty much I believe it's a requirement of what we should do. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, getting not necessarily copying, but imitating. Like, there's so many ways you can imitate certain people, and come out with little tweaks of certain different things. And I watch it to appreciate people's work now, as opposed to I can't just go. My days of being, I guess, like one of those fans that watches story week to week to week to week to week, it's just over. Like, I can't process it. I can't follow along with it. Which is kind of sad in a way, because back in the day, I used to fucking love the story every single week. But I mean, like, when you're sort of on the inside of it now, it's such a different transitional. Like, you just watch it so differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, dude, even like I go and do stuff with Russo's brand and Humane Media Group when they need me to review a show. And like, I think I reviewed a AEW show for Humane Media Group like not too long ago, and I was like, fuck, I sat through like the first time of watching like a full AEW show, and like at the end of it, I was just like, fuck me, what the fuck? What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
What
you
the
got me
fuck
on
are we
that
watching?
too.
Yeah,
The
I
fucking
have to,
worst.
if I have to watch this shit, so do you.
Fucking worst. I
So
couldn't believe it.
we got a question from Adam for Jamie. Off topic, any reviews of the Marvels movie coming out?
No, that was one that I surprisingly wasn't on the preview list for some weird reason. I normally am on all of the Marvel ones, and the Marvels just skipped me. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Fuck them.
I'm gonna, I'll wait till that hits Disney, and then I'll just watch it at home in my own time.
That's it, man. But look, guys, I think like we've been going for just over an hour, man. I appreciate you guys, jumping on for this debut episode. Let us know what you think in the comments, guys. Let us know what you think of the new format. We're going to be doing more conversations like this, more multiple people, all that sort of stuff. Stay tuned. We're going to be bringing you a lot of different style of content here. Also, we're going to be bringing you those interviews that you love and seeing those interactions with myself and other people. So make sure you tune the fuck in. If you're tuning on YouTube, make sure you tap that little red button and tap in. And yeah, man. And also all those podcast platforms. But Jamie, where can everyone find you? Also, I feel like we just skirted past Australian wrestling cards. Like,
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to know all the installments and who you got on there. Like, I'm really keen.
So yeah, 2023 we had. Hang on. Now you've challenged my memory of who was in what,
Oh, sorry.
because I've been in the whole like planning 2024 phase of the last couple of months. So I was like, okay, 2023 is out. It's done. It's out of my mind now. But I know the first person I ever got signed in and was probably the one that really legitimized it was Robbie Eagles.
Mhm.
So he was the first person I messaged and was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Would you be keen? And he was like, yep, I'm in. And then JXT was another person that I hit up because he has the sort of graphic design background. And I was just sort of bouncing some design ideas off him. And he's like, yeah, it looks fantastic. Like, sweet, I'm in. And then Shazza and Brooksy were people that I was also very glad that they get in, because I think the key in that first installment was to get the really high profile people to like legitimize it, not just start at the bottom essentially. Like I was like, yeah, let's try and get the top people in the industry, and then that makes it legitimized. And yeah, 2023, I think the person I was most proud to get was Madison Eagles, because she just really doesn't do a lot like public facing in wrestling anymore. Yeah, everything she does now is all sort of behind
She's
the
no
scenes.
sold me for years, bro. She's no sold me for years.
Yeah, so I was very proud to get her. But yeah, so we did 6 waves in 2023. I think we have maybe 10 packs of what's left, with the we've got the Black Friday sale going on until Monday, so that's where people can grab the last few batches if they want them. But 2024 set has went to print yesterday, so it's just a matter of wait for that to come in and keep an eye out for pre-orders in January.
Anyone in
Cool.
2024 you want to mention that's going to be in the release?
2024, what do we got? I'm trying to think of who I've like said already that's in there.
You got the Bachelor yet?
Yeah, he was in the last set of cards that came out, but
That's all you need. He's the goat.
He is.
we got
Yeah.
Delta. Piers is in next year's set. Hartley
Hey,
Jackson. I was very excited to get Hartley Jackson and Chris Weiss to sort of get a couple more guys that sort of pave the way internationally for Australian wrestling and
Cool.
kind of didn't get the recognition for it.
Yeah. Gino Gambino?
Outs- no Gino. Ed Locke.
oh,
Very, very stoked to get Ed Locke.
he's a great guy. I love Ed.
And then, yeah, another one that I was also very excited to get and ended up creating some controversy for me recently. I am doing a tribute card for Kyle Eade, which will come out around the 1 year anniversary of his passing. But I was very happy to work with Glenn, Kyle's dad, to
Very cool.
get a tribute card that he was happy with, and he's going to see some financial benefit out of it and some cards to he will have a piece of like this is what Kyle meant to the industry, and I was very happy to see how much he was supported after all of that went down.
Yeah, like for real, that was a hard loss, I think, for the Australian wrestling scene, and you know, you have like when you have someone who was so passionate, so hardcore, and so intense for this scene who just wanted to support people, bro. Like, Kyle was annoying at times, bro. I'll be honest. He could be annoying at times, but his heart was always good. There was never ever ill intention. And you know what? Fuck, I could be annoying at times, bro. Like, fuck, we all can. You know what I mean? Like, we all have our own little quirks, but he was always a friendly guy, always had a smile on his face. It was never, to be mean or anything like that. It was just always about just loving wrestling. And to be honest, that's what we all do. Like, we all would have loved, and maybe even some weird way I still fucking love wrestling. You know what I mean? I do love wrestling, but
Right.
I just feel like the Australian wrestling scene really took a fucking hit.
I seriously, I'm waking up and Mitchell Torture, who's in this chat right now, he called me first as soon as I woke up. Like spam called me because I was pretty close with Kyle. Like he'd hit me up at least once, twice, 3 times a week. And before the news even broke, he Mitchell Torture called me and he just said, just don't open Facebook or anything. And fucking when I did, man, I was fucking crushed. Like I can't ever relive that day as much as like it was. It was fucked. It was seriously such a big hit. Like there was so much. My promos, my work in the ring, everything I did. I always thought first. I was like, what would Kyle think of this? I don't know. It was something funny about it. Like, and there was always such a little cool thing for me to be able to like try and pop Kyle every time I did something different in wrestling, and I fucking can't say enough about how much he meant to me early on in my career and giving me confidence individually as a performer because he was always there.
Dude, I remember once, like, we're at a show and he said something. He yelled out, and I was managing Vinny, and he goes, "You suck." I said, "Yeah, your mother wished he did 20-something years ago, champ." And he was just like, "Oh." And it was just like, he loved it, man. And, that's why I like my profile photo on Facebook, bro. Like, he took that photo at a show I was at, and, you know what I mean? Like, it was a cool photo, but also, man, the fact that that he wanted to take that photo of me, and he wanted to support this shooting the shit and all that sort of stuff. He was like one of the first people that really got behind this shit and started sharing and promoting in every podcast. He'd take a screenshot and post it, tune the fuck in, and you know what I mean? Like, he helped grow this just as much as anyone else. That's why I've never referred to this podcast as my podcast or my show. This has always been our show, our thing, because it's like, man, I love my audience, bro. And, you know, and Carl's passing has taught me to really appreciate, you know, my platform and my chat and the people that decide to fucking tune in and see me talk shit on the online and see me fucking interview people and all this sort of shit. Man, I fucking appreciate that. I appreciate every fucking view. I appreciate every fucking listen. And now that's one thing that's really made me, just appreciate everyone who takes the time out of their day to give a fuck about me or give a fuck about us, what we're doing here. And you know what I mean? I'm no fucking celebrity, bro. I'm a fucking nobody. I'm a fucking podcaster with 1,600 subscribers on YouTube. Like, I get to do some cool shit on wrestling and fight shows, dude. Like, I'm not, the fact that he would look at it like I was a hero to him or a fucking role model to him, that fucking shit means something, bro. It really does. You know what I mean? Him and Josh, bro. So,
bro, that motherfucker, he made, sorry to cut you off, bro. He made an AKL fan page and then posted links to my merch site, like, regularly. Like, he was actually promoting me better than I was promoting myself.
Yeah, he was always commenting on the trading card posts and sharing, like, anytime I did an interview with a wrestler or someone in the wrestling sphere, he was always one of those first people that was right there commenting and letting you know that he appreciated it. I was like, yeah, geez, when I woke up to that news, I was like, I'm doing this. I need to give back to him in the small way I can and his family. And yeah, I left it. I let Glenn and that just have their time to process everything. I didn't hit them up straight away, as I've since found out others did. And I just once it was all settled for him, and then I was like, I want to do this. When you're ready, you let me know. And then he came and we spoke, and all the shit that went down in the last month or two, he was super appreciative of me sticking up for him and Kyle's entire family. Like, I couldn't do. I did everything I could for that family.
Bro, when people try and take advantage of people in a situation like that, it's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? Like the DMDU thing. You know what I mean? Like, they went after a guy who'd fucking had a life-changing injury, bro, and then turn around and you do that to someone who lost a fucking son. Like, I don't know if you got kids, Jamie. Like, I got three fucking kids, man, 7, 5, and 2. And I'm telling you now, bro, if I lost one of them, I don't know if there is a bounce back for me. I don't know if I could keep on going, bro. I straight the fuck out. I don't know if I could. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, what his family has gone through, bro, and for people to try and play that shit is fucking disgusting. And the fact that you made that statement, you backed it and supported it, I fucking shared that shit and jumped on and supported as well, bro, because that's like, I see you as someone who doesn't really, you know what I mean, get involved in the drama or the bullshit as much as I do.
Yeah, I try to stay, just let it bounce
100%,
water off a duck's back, but that was one thing I was like, okay, no, I was legitimately angry that day, and
yeah, of course,
I was talking to my mom, and she's like, just breathe, and I was like, I'm legitimately ready to punch things.
Yeah.
So
100%. You know, it gets you to that stage, man, where like some people just don't have the same values, and that's where, you know, the carny is in pro wrestling, and there's still fucking carnies in this shit, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like the carnies are the ones that sit there and try and pull wool over your eyes and say, oh no, we're so amazing, we're here to make this a better place and all this sort of stuff. But in reality and deep down, it's like they're like, hey, we're just going to pull that wool over your fucking eyes, and then we're going to rip your throat out when you're least expecting it.
And Kyle's death, man, it's sort of what we were talking about at the start of the podcast. You know what I mean? Like, you were saying, like, you're going from show to show every Tuesday, every Thursday. Then you got work. Then you get then you do your live podcast. Then you do the next piece of content. Then you call me about the next piece of content. And we're in this constant moving bubble. And this is the problem with me, man. I did I've been devoting a lot of my time to wrestling outside of my uni and my work. And when something like Kyle happens, it just fucking makes you realize that life is moving so fast, and you're not giving time for anything to just love and be happy and enjoy. And we need to give ourselves that time. Do you know what I mean? Because we never know when that next person is going to go. Well, you know what I mean?
Like before Kyle passed away, man, I had a friend of mine that was, you know what I mean, someone I was friends with his entire family, bro, and this was an unexpected passing, just like Kyle's was, man. And this is probably like it happened the week of the Wagga Wagga Impact Down Under tour. And it happened the Sunday, and then like that Saturday, it happened on the Sunday, and then the Saturday I had to be in Wagga. And like there was a part of me, bro, that like I was ready to pull the fuck out of that show because I didn't know if I could do it. And it was like one of those things where like, you know what I mean? Like the whole thing was just like, you know, I spoke to his family, and there were certain things that I did, you know what I mean? I had his initials written on my wrist when, you know what I mean, under my suit. You know what I mean? I took a photo of that and I sent it to his family, and his mother, you know what I mean? And his mum just, you know, sent back saying thank you. You know what I mean? Like his family was just like, thank you so much. The fact that, you know, you would do that and it means so much to you. And I was like, yeah. And I went in that show at Impact, and, you know, before I'd sort of spoken to the mic and all that sort of shit, it was like I'd looked up, you know, I mean, I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in all that shit. And, you know, I just looked up and I was like, brother, you're with me right now. Let's go. You know what I mean? And it was like my small part of ring announcing isn't a fucking major thing, but like that moment he was with me, bro. And that was my biggest moment. And I had him there, and it was just surreal, bro. Like, you know, seeing people that are so young go so quick, bro, and unexpectedly, man, it really fucking hits, bro. Like it really fucking hits. And 2023 can fuck right off, bro. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I can't wait for this year to fucking end, bro. I really fucking can't. Hey, we got Glenn in the house as well, man. And hey, Glenn, look, we're saying this shit out of love, and, you know, and everything, man. Like, if you need anything from me, if you just need a chat, vent, whatever, bro, I'm sure you have family and friends there to do that, but I'm throwing it out there. If you need anything, you got me on Facebook. Send me a message, whatever I can do or whatever you need, bro.
Love you, Glenn.
Love you, brother.
He gets right into it too at the shows. He gets right into it, bro. Like I remember we did the Kylie tribute show for Wrestling Go, and I was on the mic. I did the ring announcing because I was hurt at the time, so I was like, I'll do the ring announcing because I've got to be at some part of the show. Like I've got to be in it. And I was doing the ring announcing, and then he just goes, first 5 seconds of the show, he just goes, "Who gave this guy a job?"
Oh man, it's a beautiful thing to see, man. It really is. It really is.
Father, like son.
But you know what? The fact that the industry has got around Glenn and welcomed him with open arms, man. Fuck, I love that, bro. And I can't wait to be on a show and for Glenn to come and see that, bro. So who knows, man? Maybe me and him will have a bit of a fucking words when I'm being a heel. But and like,
yeah,
Glenn,
for all the like negativity that can be in wrestling, there are moments where you're like, oh no, this actually can be a very welcoming and supportive place.
100%.
When required, but yeah, it's just sad that sometimes that gets overshadowed by the shit.
Yeah, 100%. You're 100% right. But guys, we've been going for fucking 90 minutes. I think it's time for us to ride off into the sunset. This has been True Story with the Truth, Piers Austin, and two of my friends, Jamie Apps and Alex A. Kelly. Until next time, take care. All the